How many 16-core packs do you need to assign to these two servers to license them? Let me explain that. So I hope you know, at least a little bit, Windows Server licensing. You have two rules how you calculate how many cores you need per server. At least 8 cores per one processor and at least 16 cores for the entire box. But let's look at these two boxes. They're well above the minimums, these two 24-core boxes. If you read the product terms, how licensing of Windows Server in the product terms is stipulated, you will understand that what you need to license these two servers is just a number of 48 cores of Windows Server in total. Same applies to System Center, same applies to Core Infrastructure Suite, which is a combination of System Center and Windows Server. So far, so good. Must be simple. If it's not simple, please let me know. You may be then aware or not that you buy these licenses, these core licenses, in so-called core packs. You can't buy a single license. You can buy either 2 license packs or 16 license packs, 16 core packs. When you buy 16 core packs, how many 16 core packs do you need to assign to these two servers to license them? The problem here is a couple of customers I talked with and a good friend of mine who works for a license reseller, they were told that a 16 core pack is a single 16 core license. What that means is that the licenses are usually not breakable. So you have to assign a whole pack to a server, and then when you have a 24-core server following that logic, you need to assign 2 16-core packs to each server here, so you need in total 4 core packs. That is complete and utter bullshit. A 16-core pack is not a single license. Why people get genuinely confused? Not the ones who deliberately use that to deceive the customers. The majority of whom I talk to, almost every second day, I have this question in my chat. Can we break it? Can we not? And I explain it to people. People go away and say, thank you very much. People who sell licenses, genuine people. I'm not saying everybody is a bad person, but there are some. Even if you just misled, just please understand this so you can then explain it to your customers and you can properly sell them the licenses, the amount of licenses, the quantity of licenses they actually require, not some fantasy. Not something that you were told by somebody who doesn't know a damn about it. So where people get confused, or why people get confused, is that if you look at the old license, the previous licenses, when they were licensed per processor, those licenses were, in fact, unbreakable 2 processor licenses. And you look at the SKU, what it says is, it's a 2 processor license here. 2 processor license. What's very important in all the licensing is to pay attention to every single comma. Every single character. It says here, not 2 licenses, 2 processors. And then if you read the product terms, you will see that that's an unbreakable 2 processor license. Look at the SKU of Windows Server 2019, then, the one on the right. It actually says 16 licenses. And the single unbreakable entity in licensing is a license, unless stipulated otherwise. Clearly stipulated otherwise. If that's not enough for you, these are fields from Microsoft Business Center. And then again, the comparison of the old license and the new license. Microsoft clearly stipulate here 2 things. One is the old license was 2 processor. The tiniest fraction is a 2 processor license. Here, the tiniest fraction is a core license, 1 single core. And they even say here again, 16 licenses verbally, 16 licenses. This SKU is just a purchasing vehicle. It's a pack of licenses. It's just easier to buy. You don't buy 3,200 single cores. You buy 216 core packs, but they are breakable. In no single line of product terms it says you must assign packs. It says you must assign the number of cores required for this server and follow these 2 minimums, at least 8 cores per socket and at least 16 cores per the entire hardware partition. That's it. Single core. I have another slide. This is from the Microsoft licensing statement. It's a set of records from the Microsoft databases that outlines every single purchase that you made, and then it gives you a summary of licenses that you hold. Effective license quantity here for these products would be in 2 processor licenses. What you'll probably see here in transaction history for this particular customer is they bought 2 16-core packs, but the effective license quantity is 32. The line here doesn't say Windows Server Data Center Core 16 core license, 2 licenses. No, it says single core license, 32 licenses. Therefore, all these core packs are breakable. So we get into the original question, to the initial question from which I started. If it's formulated the way I formulated it, how many 16 core packs you need to license these 2 servers? Would be 3 16 core packs. But that's not the right answer either, because the question itself is incorrect. The question itself is just formulated wrongly. The right answer to this question is, to license these servers, you need 48 cores. When you talk about licenses and licensing, always talk about the fraction that is the actual metric, the fraction that is the actual license. And the fraction here is a single core. Therefore, the correct answer to that question is you need 48 cores to license these 2 servers. Then if you ask how we're going to buy them, then you have a choice either to buy 24 2-core packs or 3 16-core packs, or say a 1 16-core pack and, help me calculate, 16 2-core packs. You just need to remember that when you calculate compliance, you talk about single cores. If you're a customer, if somebody's still passionately telling you, no, you cannot break 16 core packs, firstly, please bring them to this video. And if they're not convinced, I'd like to talk to them. I really would like, I'm in that sort of mood, to look them in the eye and understand why they continue misleading, passionately misleading people and selling them licenses they don't need. My passion is for you, dear customer, not to waste money on the products you don't need, on the licenses you don't need, and do things correctly. And take the money you waste and put them into something that you actually need. If you have any questions, please join, please follow. And I would greatly appreciate, you would really make my day, if you follow this channel, if you like this live, if you come to these lives again, and if you ask your questions. Thank you. And, well, save with knowledge of Microsoft licensing. Have a good day. Have a great, productive, and hopefully not as emotional day. Goodbye.